makes me wanna holler, go away. I need more peace and hope and love. Where do I find it in this crazy old world? I need strategies, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Every time I listen, Lauren and David share strategies for living, and it makes me aware. I got strategies for living, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio.
Oh, you know we need them.
Dose of radio rehab.
Yeah, we need those strategies, don't we? Those strategies for living. So are you ready? Are you ready for your daily dose of radio rehab?
You know what? I'm ready.
You ready?
Yeah.
I like a girl that's ready.
I know you do.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you do.
Yeah. Hey, folks,
It works
welcome.
out.
Yeah, it does work out. Welcome, folks. Welcome into Strategies for Living. I'm Dr. David McMillan. She is psychotherapist Lauren Leon McMillan, PLPC. And, Lauren, we've been on a relationship kick
Yeah,
here
we're
lately.
acting like it's spring or something, or love is in the air.
Well, maybe
What's
it
going
is.
on?
I don't know. Maybe maybe it's just friskiness. I didn't even think about springtime.
Well, spring's about fertility and love and coming into being with each other in relationships. So
makes total sense to me.
I think we've been acting upon that appropriately, whether consciously or not.
There you go.
In terms of our themes.
I found something from a place called Growth Vibes.
Okay.
And it's 40 rules of marriage.
Okay.
Now I let me put an asterisk by the rules.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that I don't think you can have rules to marriage, because the two people involved in a relationship, in a committed relationship, have to form those themselves.
Absolutely.
Right?
And together.
Yeah. And that's one of the things, because as we mentioned yesterday, there's a wide variety of the way people go about living
in relationship.
And
I think that's important for all of us to know and to recognize, right?
Absolutely. So we'll do 40 air quote rules of marriage / relationships today. Folks, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you being with us, and we appreciate our sponsors who make it all possible: the Robinson Film Center, and Azalea Cleaners, and Pintail Roofing, and Learning RX. We train your brain. The Balanced Life Wellness Center, Fertitta's Delicatessen, home of the Godfather, Alligator Italian Sausage, some pretty good muffies too, SRT Sales Training, Uprising Addiction Center, and Mira Direct Primary Care. We're talking relationships. We're talking some air quote rules, air unquote, of marriage today here on Strategies.
Tune in daily, find the light. Healthy mind and spirits bright. Strategies for living strong. Feel the vibe, it won't go wrong. Body moves and soul align. Catch the rhythm, feel the time. Radio rehab every day. Chase those clouds of gray away. Your daily dose of radio rehab. Lift you up when skies seem drab. Mind and body, spirits free. Living life in harmony.
Harmony is the key word here. Welcome in,
You
folks.
were waiting for that.
Welcome into Strategies for Living. Well, I was looking for a hook.
Yeah,
right?
well, you found it. Hook, line, and sinker.
There you go. Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan. We've been talking about relationships here the last few programs on Strategies for Living, and we've got some rules, air quote, of marriage. Why don't let me run through the first 15 of these, because there's 40 of these.
Okay.
And they're all pretty good, but let me run through the first 15, and then let's take this segment and talk about the ones that kind of step out for us. Okay. And we'll do that next segment. We'll do another 15, and then the last segment we'll do the last 10. And that's a kind of a way to break it down.
Okay.
And again, if you want the entire list, the place, it's from Growth Vibes, at Growth Vibes. So I'm guessing that is a site on the internet.
Okay.
But
well, you would know you got it.
I've
right?
got it, but and I want to give credit where credit's due, but I'm not sure. It's one of those things, how stuff pops up.
Yes.
On your Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And so when something...
It's not like it listens or anything.
No, it never would listen to you. But when when something like this pops up, and it's something that, that would be good to share on the radio.
Right. Yeah.
I put it in a...
Yeah, we've got it's a shared folder.
Yeah, and so, it comes in handy. Okay, so the first 15, communicate daily, listen with empathy, say I love you often, laugh together, never sleep angry. One time, Lauren and I stayed up for a week. No, I'm kidding.
Not quite that long.
I'm kidding. Argue respectfully. Apologize sincerely. Forgive quickly. Praise more than criticize. I got something to say about that one.
Okay.
Speak your needs clearly. Keep dating each other. Be affectionate often. Prioritize intimacy. Celebrate milestones. Be each other's safe space.
Yep.
Now, those are the first 15.
Those are all good.
They are, well, okay.
Except for the praise more than you criticize?
No, yeah. I'd say let's just take the criticize out. Because
okay.
Okay.
I was about to say, what have you got wrong with that?
Well,
I got you.
I don't like the criticize thing.
Yeah.
And criticism is one of the deadly horsemen that we talked about. And so I just as soon cut it out.
Yeah.
So praise a lot.
Yeah.
And,
but it's important to be able to communicate where in the relationship you are needing something more or less.
Okay.
Without criticism.
I'm not arguing that. Yeah. I'm not arguing that at all. Yeah, but
I don't hear you. But
how can you communicate that in a way that is not critical of your partner?
I think that comes back to rule number 1, which is to communicate daily.
Yeah.
And, you and I were talking about this when we were, I don't remember which episode we were talking about, how it's important to have conflict, right?
Yeah.
And
all couples fight. All couples have conflict.
And of course, we've had our fair share, but we were kind of musing together, well, we really haven't had a whole bunch.
No, we really haven't. You could kind of count them on one hand, actually. and that doesn't mean there's not conflict occasionally that comes up, but it never gets to it never gets to a fight.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
we
communicate daily.
Yeah.
And that's not, we're not talking about logistics like I'm going here, I'm going there.
No, that's about, really not even communicate. That's just courtesy.
Right. We're talking emotional check-ins.
Yeah, exactly.
As often as possible.
Well, I mean, for us, we basically do that at least 3 times a day.
Yeah.
When we wake in the morning, we greet each other, and after the huggies and the kisses and all of that stuff, typically I go down and get my coffee and read the paper, and then you come down and typically that's communication
Did I
time.
make
That's the
breakfast?
first
Yeah.
communication time. Checking, kind of beginning the
Yeah,
day.
that's exactly what I often say, isn't it? I didn't
Yeah,
even
you do.
I didn't even consider that. But when I come down, I say I'm just checking on you.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
going on? How's
And then, off to work we go, like most people. And then when we come home for lunch, there's generally another check-in.
yeah,
Yeah.
or on the way home,
Or on the way
often.
home. Yeah. Yeah.
How has the day been for you so far?
Yeah.
What have you experienced? Because I think that's important for all of us to remember in this communicating daily piece. It's, we may have actually had the same thing happen around us, but we could have had two totally different experiences
absolutely.
of what happened
Absolutely.
around us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think more people need to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially within families, when you get more than two people, then there's suddenly 3, 4, 5
It
different
can get
experiences.
chaotic, can it?
Yeah, and it's important to check in with everybody.
And then in terms of you and I, we kind of do that at the end of the day too. Whether we're whether we're snuggling in bed or whether it's right before, it's kind of another check in to how was your day?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And the other piece behind that is we genuinely mean it. I think a lot of people say those things like, how are you, or how was your day, or how have you been?
yeah, but we want to hear from each other.
Right. And
Yeah.
I think it's important that we're vulnerable and honest with each other, and that we both genuinely listen and care and validate the other.
Okay, so I'm going to go from there down to 13 because I think these connect.
Well, yeah.
13 is prioritize intimacy. And that basically is what we're talking about here. Think of intimacy as into me see.
Right.
Now, some people may say, well, you guys are going overboard. You're putting too much on this because you're together all the time anyway. You know what's happened with each other.
Well,
Not really.
no.
Because
exactly.
into me see, intimacy equals into me see. You pointed this out earlier. We may have experienced exactly the same thing, but we experience it internally
through totally different lenses.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you're a bit younger than I am.
A little bit.
A little bit. And even if you weren't.
Well, we had totally different family upbringings.
Right. So you had
styles
your
of
history, and
communication.
that's right.
Yeah.
And so,
And experiences up until we met and created our own culture together.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And creating that culture, actually is still going on.
Yeah.
For us.
Sure.
And I think that's healthy.
Yeah.
Because-
to continually cultivate culture.
Yeah. You want to continue to grow. A couple is an organism, right?
Yeah.
It's a living, breathing thing.
Absolutely.
And so if you think about it that way, and you think about, if an organism doesn't grow, what happens?
Oh,
Yeah.
it dies.
It dies,
Right.
yeah.
Well, and another way to look at that is we can see that in what we call traditions or rituals, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you've been doing something the same way forever and you don't know why or what the original meaning is, it loses its meaning.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of what you're touching on when you say it's important that we continually cultivate the culture, because then we know it enriches our lives, and we know that it has meaning and why we do what we do.
That second one, Lauren, listen with empathy. I think it's really, really important to understand that what truly empathy is.
Yeah.
And, empathy is I'm making myself vulnerable enough to put myself in your place.
Yeah.
That's empathy.
I'm listening to understand
Right.
not to respond.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I mean, that's a big piece of it.
That's a massive piece.
And it's not coming from a place of sympathy where, oh, you poor thing.
No.
Empathy.
That's not empathy.
Right. Empathy implies equality. It
Yes.
implies me trying and stretching to understand, okay, if the roles were reversed and if I were in the situation, how would I feel?
Yes.
And it might even be different.
Yep.
And in that case, how do you feel so I can understand? And where are you coming from with that?
Number 15, and it's not that any of these are more important than the other. For instance, apologize sincerely, forgive quickly,
I
praise
think,
more than criticize. All of those are important.
before we go too far, I think those first four, communicate daily, listen with empathy, say I love you often, and laugh together. Those are all daily practices of connection,
You would hope so,
of
yes.
turning toward, and that's one way to sum
I
that
totally
up.
agree with you, but also the last one, number
Yeah, go
15
for
that I read, be each other's safe space.
Yeah, we got to talk more about that one because that one's important.
It's massively important.
It's the foundation for any and all relationships.
Absolutely. We're still on a relationship kick here on Strategies for Living. Did I say that right? Relationship
Kick.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that one. We're on it anyway here on Strategies
roll.
for Living, and we'll be back. More to come. Stay with us.
We all have problems every day. We all need help along the way. We need strategies for living. Radio.
And welcome back. Welcome back into Strategies for Living Radio. Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan, talking about relationships. 40 rules, quote, air quotes, of marriage or relationship.
40 habits.
Suggested
habits.
These would be wonderful habits to develop. That's a good way to think about this. A good way to approach it. Because what what we do over and over and over becomes habitual.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do these things over and over and over, I promise you, you're going to have a healthy relationship, a healthier relationship. We got to get the next 15, but you wanted to come back, especially to that last one, be each other's safe space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so important in all of life, right? I mean, the foundation of any and all relationships is safety. And I don't think it's talked about or understood well enough.
I agree with you 100%. And you think about this. All of us probably want both intimacy and passion in our relationships, especially in our marriages or in our primary relationship. And again, intimacy, intimacy.
Right. It's about
It's
being
about
vulnerable and
being
being
vulnerable and sharing.
Yeah.
Passion is pure energy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, sometimes when people hear passion, they equate that to sexuality.
Yeah. And
in their
sometimes they
mind.
do the same for intimacy.
And
right?
sometimes
Yeah.
they do for intimacy. And sexuality definitely has elements of passion and intimacy.
And hopefully safety.
Right. You cannot sustain over time intimacy and passion without safety.
Right.
You have to have, and maybe we should put safety / commitment.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not necessarily talking about commitment to each other. I'm talking about commitment to the relationship
And to growth.
and to growth together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again,
I think that might be worth a show.
yeah, I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
A guy by the name of Robert Sternberg
Yeah, the triangle.
presented that as a triangle, and he put, intimacy
Safety
and he pointed out in his work that you can have intimacy and passion early on, when you
Sure.
quote unquote fall in love with each other and all the ego boundaries drop.
But it won't be sustained.
But it won't be. It can't be sustained
without safety.
without commitment and safety.
Yeah.
So, just very important to understand that.
Yeah.
All right, here's the next 15. Flirt like you just met.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah.
Keep no secrets.
Mm.
Share chores fairly. Balance responsibilities. Respect each other's habits. Create fun traditions. Make your home peaceful.
Mm.
Allow personal growth. Support each other's dreams. Stay curious about each other. Maintain your individuality. Care for your health. Be honest about money. Budget and plan together. And finally, avoid blame games.
Mm.
All of those,
They're all good.
They're all
They're
very
all
good.
very good.
I don't have any that I would, like I did in the first, that I would even add anything to. But let's talk about the things that kind of jump out. And the first one that jumps out, because it's first, is flirt like you just met.
Yeah.
You know, why do couples stop? Why do we stop flirting with each other?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. I mean,
flirting is fun.
it is.
You know,
It is, and it keeps life fun and alive, and the love.
Absolutely, and you know, we
And especially if there's safety involved.
yes.
I mean, there's no risk there.
Right.
I mean, flirting when you're single can be kind of dangerous or risky, or
Yeah.
you know, if
Yeah.
you're putting yourself out there. But when you're in a committed, safe relationship, it becomes fun and
Yeah.
a game.
Absolutely, and even sometimes, and you and I have both had this happen on both ends.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people will approach and flirt with you, or somebody will flirt with me.
Yeah.
And that's kind of fun. You know, it's like, okay, well, the safety's there because I know who I'm going home with.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And you know who I'm going home with.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But, you know, to witness, to be a witness to someone coming up and, wow, she is hot, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, you see the flirting going on
Mm-hmm.
between you and him,
Right.
or between she and me.
Right.
Okay, harmless, right? As long
Because we agree.
because we agree, we
Yeah,
know,
you're right.
you know, just because we're married and we are, and just because we're committed and we are, doesn't mean
Mm-hmm.
that they've buried us. That
Right.
we're, you know, that hopefully we work at, and I think this is to underscore this. It kind of gets back to that whole the thing of keeping the relationship exciting, and it relates to the continue to grow personally. But it's like you know, you grow, and all of us have energy,
Right.
an aura, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
that we project into the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of fun to go out and interact, you know, and people may think I'm weird when I say, well, you know, I think it's great when a man flirts with Lauren.
Yeah.
You know, people may seem weirded out by that.
I think that comes from, and you know, and I would say the same for you, because we have such a strong, steady foundation of safety and commitment.
Right.
And I think if that's an issue for you, I mean, again, couples and agree to completely different things. So that may not be a thing within your relationship, and that's okay as long as you're communicating about it.
But for goodness sake, flirt with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And continue to date and to enjoy and I think this was one of them that you said, you know, be curious, to stay curious and up to date, because as we continue to grow as individual people, it's important to that's where the dating and the flirting come back alive, because you
Yes.
are with somebody new
You are
day.
each day.
Each day.
You're not the same person that you were yesterday.
You know, I saw some talking
That's a
about
great point, Lauren.
I saw something on Facebook the other day. I don't remember where it was or whatever, but you know, some guy had asked, I don't know if it was real, but some guy had asked his grandfather, you know, who had been with his grandmother for a very long time, you know, what's the secret, right? And his answer was something along the lines of, I had to fall in love with each new woman she became.
I love
Right?
that. That's great.
And to recognize that what she needed at 20 is not the same thing that she needed and wanted at 30
Yeah.
and 40 and
Yeah.
50 and 60. And he said, it's so important that I did that, because if I didn't, somebody else
Would have. Yep.
and that's that piece about staying curious and continually flirting and dating each other. That is one of the secrets to recognize that no single one of us is as steady or stable as we like to think. We're constantly changing.
True.
Right?
True.
We're constantly
Because that's
changing
growth.
and growing.
That's what growth is.
And especially in a very healthy, committed relationship, I think that expedites growth. And so it becomes even more important to stay up to date and curious and in love.
Absolutely. And so, you know, kind of moving off of that is allow personal growth and support each other's dreams. Those are back to back, and I like the fact that they're back to back. But, you know, allow personal growth.
Yeah.
You and I and a lot of couples have, you know, you have things that you're really interested in that don't interest me to the degree.
Sure.
And vice versa.
Yep.
And, you know, we each try to be involved or get to know a little something
Sure.
about, you know, I certainly am interested in the things that you're interested in, even if I'm not, you know, just lit up by them.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm still curious and I still want to know
Right.
what you're learning and how you're growing and what you think about it.
And I don't know
Yeah.
about you, but for me, that comes from a place of, I enjoy seeing you happy and the excitement that you get from whatever it is that brings you pleasure. And I want to support that,
And that's-
especially if it helps you to grow and become more of who you truly are in the world.
And that's that support each other's dreams.
Yeah.
Because, again, we have some dreams together. You and I certainly
Sure.
have some shared dreams. But you individually and me individually, and every person on the planet has dreams.
Yeah.
They may not let them come up often enough and express them often enough. But one of the things in a committed, healthy relationship is I think we actually help each other's dreams come true.
You are making my dreams that come true.
You making my dreams that come true. I think that was a Hall & Oates song. One of my favorite ones, by the way.
You act like I didn't know this.
Yeah, well, it's true. Number 30, and we talked about this in a previous program, but again, I think it's important enough to talk about again. Avoid blame games.
Yeah.
And those are games.
They are.
Because
absolutely, because there's no such thing.
No, and when we hit a problem, and the problem could be anything, avoid making each other the problem. Keep the problem, and
work towards it together. See how you can be on the same team,
Yeah.
and remember that you're on the same team.
absolutely,
Always.
absolutely, and you know let's tackle this together. And how do we see it differently? How do we see it the same? Now let's figure out, how do we solve this problem? Some
can we move into
problems
it?
are solvable, some aren't, and the ones that aren't have to be managed.
Right.
We're talking about rules of relationships today here on Strategies for Living, and yeah, we got more to come. Stay with us.
We all have problems.
problems every day. We all need help along the way. We need strategies, strategies, strategies for living radio.
And welcome back in. Welcome back into Strategies for Living Radio. That's Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan, and of course you.
Yes.
Thank you for listening, and hope you'll share the wealth. Tell your friends about strategies. We've been around a while, but not everybody knows. Yeah. Not everybody knows about us, but here we are.
If you're on the radio, we're on podcast, and if you're on podcast, we're on the radio too.
There you go.
And Facebook.
So there's a lot of ways to listen to strategies, and a lot of people do the podcasting thing today.
Yeah, it's very convenient. You listen when you want, and
yeah. So we're on all the major platforms. You can, you can get us on the radio, but
you
we're
can
on
go
all
back and listen to any and every one.
Absolutely. Okay, so today on Strategies, each day we talk about being healthy, body, mind, spirit, and relationships. We're on a relationship kick right now, and we've been talking about relationships the last few programs, and we're talking about some, air quote now, rules of marriage. There's 40 of them. So we've been through 30. Let's get the last 10 in, and then we'll talk about we'll talk about some in particular. Face challenges united. Fight issues, not each other. And I think at the end of last segment, we kind of covered both of those, didn't we?
Yep.
Seek help when needed. That's where I want to start.
Okay. Yep.
Stay fully committed. Grow together. Respect each other's families. Appreciate small moments. Keep your word. Never compare marriages. Choose love every day.
Amen.
So, seek help when needed.
Yeah. I think that's difficult for a lot of people.
It is, Lauren, but I tell you,
on both ends of the spectrum.
For years I did marriage and family therapy, and I'm still doing some relationship coaching when someone wants that. But I saw a lot of couples through the years, and sometimes I thought how tragic that this couple that's in front of me right now and is in such a fix, such a pickle. It's tragic that, these smart people didn't seek help earlier.
Yeah.
So many times we think of going to marriage therapy or marriage counseling as, we do that when we're in trouble. And the most successful couples that I worked with through the years were the couples that came even when they didn't need to come. I had some couples through the years come in and use therapy, couples therapy, like they would a medical checkup.
That's nice.
I thought, okay, well, we don't have anything really to talk about today, but we wanted to come in to kind of get a checkup. Right. Just like you go to the doctor and get your blood pressure checked and your vitals checked and, get any kind of advice that the doctor can give us. Well, it's kind of the same thing. Right. Now,
because there's tons of tools that we have.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of, before marriage, during marriage, and then during marriage when you expand into a family, in terms of, questionnaires and assessments, in terms of tracking where you are in the relationship and what you can do better. I mean, even just engaging with those tools, even if you're in a fairly healthy relationship, can be eye-opening.
Absolutely.
Because it gives you that foundation of being able to talk about how you talk to each other and how you interact. And the relationship from that meta point of view. Which is going to be important if you continue to grow in it.
Now, I think it's also important for us to say that therapy is not the only, some people are going to avoid therapy like the plague.
Right.
And I get that. I understand that. And I will even say, it may surprise people, I'll even say that's okay. But I'm saying that's okay because there's so much out there that's available.
There's tons
that you can take a trip.
especially-
You can take a trip to Barnes and Noble and pick up a Gottman book, or
You don't have to go that far. I mean, you can go to the internet, right?
Absolutely,
and find
yeah.
some really good couples workshops.
Yep.
And information or books if you prefer that, and workbooks if you want to do it on your own. And there's tons of people out there, relationship coaches or counselors that are available via the social media and internet.
Absolutely.
And I would caution, of course, be careful and run it past your own discernment.
Right.
When you're just on the
Does
internet
this
or
make
social
sense?
media.
Yeah. Does this make sense to me?
But yeah.
Or look
it's
at
funny.
the reviews.
It's funny because when you said seek help when needed, I totally understand where you were going with that in terms of seek help outside the marriage.
Yeah.
But I was honestly thinking it's also difficult for people to seek help inside the marriage, to seek help from each other.
Yeah.
When needed.
Absolutely.
And I think
I mean,
that's
you're each
just as important.
Ideally, you're each other's best friends.
Absolutely.
Ideally.
Yeah.
And if you're each other's best friends, what do you want to do? You want to help your best friend, and you want your best friend to help you. So, there you go.
And to be able to ask that of each other.
Right.
When I think that's a misnomer, right? That a lot of people think, well, all marriages are, healthy marriages are 50-50.
Yeah.
And I think if you go in with that attitude, you're doomed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there are some days when I have 10 and I'm going to need you to do 90.
Right.
Or when you have 10 and I have the energy to do 90.
Right.
Right. But it's important that you communicate that.
Right.
And that's where the seek help when needed would come in my.
Like in our case, I've had some health challenges lately.
Right.
And so, there's honestly, I think I'm pretty good at the sharing the household, but I mean, during the health challenge time, I've kind of not had the energy.
Right.
And, I mean, Sunday
That's
you
what
came
I was
in.
laughing about.
Sunday you came in and
it was
said,
the only thing,
"Yeah,
man.
I take the trash out every week,
It's the
and
one
it's
thing.
Sunday night." And you came through and said,
Because you asked me, what are you doing? I think
I'm doing man jobs.
I'm doing the man job. It's the only thing. There's not many things that I assign, but for whatever reason, that's the one. But I'm happy to do it for you and for us. So.
Last but not least, never compare marriages. I really think that is an important
Huge.
Because it's always easy to point and see another couple
It's important.
and think, oh, that's Ken and Barbie. But
You have no idea.
You don't have any idea.
Nobody has any idea.
Because sometimes we think Ken and Barbie, and actually they're about as opposite of that as you can get. Yeah. So, talking relationships today, and rules of, quote unquote, rules of marriage and relationships. We'll be back here on Strategies for Living. Thanks for listening. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan. Here's where I'm going to get in trouble. This time of the show is my favorite time because all I've got to do is get us in.
I had a feeling you were going to ask a question.
And the expert in the room,
right?
Gets to answer the question, right?
No, I don't know that that's the right way to label that.
I told you, folks. I told you I was going to get it. We may get into a knockdown, drag out right here on the air. You never know.
Right.
All right. So, what's your takeaway from today? All of these quote unquote rules. What's the takeaway for therapist Lauren today?
Okay, take it for what it's worth, right? I don't think they're really rules. We talked about that. Maybe they're reminders. That love isn't something that you find, but something that you practice daily.
Something that you do daily.
That you create together.
Yeah.
Through over and over through loving habits, right? Turning towards each other, making sure you're two whole people, well interdependent and blended. How you're
committed to work on yourself.
Committed to work through it, even and especially through conflict together, and that you're building a life together, right? Supporting each other's dreams,
building and sustaining a life together. Well, see?
Yeah. What did we see?
You did it again.
Yeah.
There you go.
With a lot of help.
Folks, thank you. Thank you for tuning in to Strategies for Living. We appreciate you, and we appreciate our sponsors who make it all possible. The Robinson Film Center, Azalea Cleaners, Pintail Roofing, Learning RX, We Train Your Brain, the Balanced Life Wellness Center, Fertitta's Delicatessen, home of The Godfather, Alligator Italian Sausage, and Pretty Good Muffies too, SRT, Sales Training, Uprising, Addiction Center, and Mira, Direct Primary Care. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call that you could make, who would you call? And what would you say? And why are you waiting? Make the call. For Lauren Leon McMillan, I'm David McMillan. See you next time right here on Strategies for Living.